Find out from an industry expert as well what their expectations are from the budget. The auto space, M&M, joining us now is Bharat Doshi, Executive Director and Group CFO of M&M, and with him is Rajeev Dubey, the President HR, who joins us. Gentlemen, afternoon. Thanks so much for joining us. Mr. Doshi, first, question to you. We're going into the budget. What are you expecting this time around from the industry as a veteran, and what kind of an impact would any kind of excise duty have on the demand situation?
Well, I expect the finance minister to be pragmatic and thinking about a long-term growth strategy, which is a sustained growth, rather than thinking about short-term issues. Secondly, at this juncture, as industry, it is one would say the excise duty at 10% is also consistent with the long-term GST. So one would expect a benign approach from the finance minister. There could be some tinkering here or there, but I would say that budget basically should look at the long-term sustained growth as the part of the strategy.
Bharat, afternoon. If indeed there is some 2% kind of hike in excise duty, which a lot of people are expecting for small cars, CVs, even utility vehicles, it's not unlikely that it happens. Would you pass it down, A, and B, given that interest rates are also high now, do you expect that to have any kind of impact on demand?
Let's put it this way, that on interest rates, if there are gradual increases, one has seen that the market has been able to absorb it and has not had so far an impact on demand. But longer term, there would be an impact if there is an unusual hike in interest rates. And the inflation is actually coming under grips, and compared to last month, there is you can see the reversal. One feels that step will not happen. As far as if excise was increased by 2% and whether it would be passed on or not, I am feeling that at this juncture the market is buoyant and there would be a partial pass off, whether one can pass it off fully or not. But the real concern right now would be more about inflationary impact overall from the budget if the finance minister is not pragmatic, and therefore you find that there is general inflation impact, because already industry is facing rising input costs, and there will be customer resistance, and you will see an impact on the demand if there is any irrational increase of excise duty rates.
What in your sense then is the growth that you're expecting for the auto industry, because it's well documented that it will slow down for sure compared to the 30% that we saw last year. For 2011, what is your estimate of the growth?
Well, I mean, if you're talking about F2011, you're already seen the kind of growth, so in the last 1 month, it is not going to make that much of a difference. It's the question is if you're talking about the calendar year 2011.
Yes, sir, the calendar year 2011.
I mean, then there could be an impact, but we are still seeing a good robust demand in the market, particularly with the rural incomes growing, and while we have seen the negative aspects of the food price increases, one is also seeing that the agricultural incomes are growing actually for them. So there is therefore that balancing factor in rural India.
Rajeev, afternoon. The one issue which saw some reaction in your stock price was when you unveiled that aggressive ESOP plan. I mean, if you do it at par, then you will have to pass nearly 1,200 crore rupees over a period of time through your P&L. So how will this ESOP plan be structured? How will the vesting happen? Because your P&L would need to be adjusted by that amount over FY12, 13, 14 onwards.
Yeah. Let me just give you the background. We've had stock option schemes operating since 2000. All that we have done this year is to issue the stock with a much deeper discount, which means three things. One is less dilution, better perceived value for the employees, and less liquidity requirement for the employees in purchasing their grant. As far as the expensing is concerned under IFRS over the vesting period, the expense is the same. There is absolutely no difference whether you give a deep discount or you give a small discount.
Then one important thing, can I add over there?
Sure.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that he talked about a figure of 1200 crores, but let me explain that the total issue of stock to the employees' trust has not been utilized to give immediate grants. What has been given as grants is only 0.2% to the employees at this juncture. On our previous occasion, when the total shares issued were 1,28 lakhs, at that time it took us 10 years to exhaust that number in terms of grants. So it is not that you are seeing a 1200 crore debit coming immediately and hitting your P&L account. So that I thought I must underline here, Udayan, that the number which you said is a gross number for the total number of shares which were issued to the trust, but the shares issued to the employees will take quite a while before they are coming into the impact on the P&L account. And as Rajeev explained, under IFRS, it doesn't make a difference whether they were at the full market price or whether they were at deep discount. I must also add that whatever is the P&L impact has no impact on net worth, because what is debited in the P&L account is credited automatically in the share premium account. So there is no cash outgo arising out of this issue of ESOPs. Now, it is very important for market to appreciate that, because sometimes people feel that does it mean more cash outflow? Actually, it means less cash outflow. It would imply that otherwise we would be ending up paying much higher salaries. Secondly, as Rajeev underlined, that if suppose it was issued at market price as we were doing in the past, I would have had to issue more than 2.5 times the number of options compared to what one has to issue now. So it is lower dilution for the shareholders.
Okay, just one final word, if we can just pin you down to a couple of numbers, Rajeev. What is the exact dilution that you're looking at, and once IFRS comes in, what will the exact P&L impact be?
No, the dilution on account of the current grant would be 1/5 of 3%. So you can see that it is less than 1%.
Okay.
Right. And over what period will this entire grant be exhausted, so that we get a sense of how long?
The vesting is over a 5-year period in equal installments. So the expensing would be done over a 5-year period.
Thanks, Bharat. Thanks, Rajeev, for those details. That's M&M, which is down 3%.